Hello?
Hello, Matt.
Hello there.
How's everything going?
Yeah, it's going great, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, wicked. Right, for everybody who's going to be listening on YouTube, me and Matt have just been chatting on Skype about government bonds
Yeah.
and the birth certificate and how the government issues bonds and all that type of thing. And I've just been reading what was that PDF called? You
A guide to gilts, I think.
So, would you be willing to give people a sort of explanation of what we were talking about, like how the main ways that money is created and how, the bonds relate to the Bank of England and the open
Yeah.
market? Do you want to give a explanation?
Yeah, all right.
Oh,
Well, basically, when the government needs large amounts of money, it auctions bonds through the Debt Management Office, and these are bought by various investors at home and abroad, and in some cases by the Bank of England and by other smaller banks. Like all banks can buy bonds. Like anyone can buy a bond really from the government.
right. And yeah, cool. And also, we were saying just now that because I've forgotten that money can be created by the Bank of England or the central bank,
Yeah,
buying the gov bonds and creating fresh
yeah,
money, but also money's created by just any regular bank through fractional reserve lending through the issue of loans.
yeah. That's right. I think a better term for the money that the commercial banks create would be claims to central Bank of England money, because obviously you can't withdraw numbers in an account. That has to be backed by some sort of banknotes and things like that.
Right. I don't quite understand that. What do you mean?
Um, well, basically, the commercial banks need some kind of um, banknotes for people to take out to withdraw. So they have to be supplied with some
Right.
from the central bank.
Oh, right.
So I'm trying to think of an easy way to explain it. Like if you take out, like your bank account is basically your represents your claim to banknotes, right?
Right.
And banknotes are central bank money created by the Bank of England.
Right. Yeah.
So when you withdraw money, you're basically converting your claim to central bank money to actual central bank money.
Yeah. So it goes from being like bank credit numbers on the screen,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
represents your claim, your right to get
yeah.
central bank
Your
money.
interest
And then that's converted into the actual
into the
notes.
actual notes. Yeah,
Right.
and and of course those notes are created when the Bank of England buys government bonds and makes loans to banks and things like that.
Ah. Right. So there's a
I
difference between the bank deposit money in a drawing account and the
Yeah,
actual cash.
yeah. I like to call the deposit money checkbook money and the Bank of England money central bank money.
Very good. Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
mod. I don't know if you've read. I think you've read Modern Money Mechanics.
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah, fractional reserve is basically where they create lots of checkbook money off of a little bit of central bank money. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, because the cash actually counts as reserve type money, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
High
Yeah,
powered money.
yeah.
Got it. Yeah,
And
because, yeah, go on.
and the reason they need this central bank money is not just for people who want to withdraw it, but also when you write checks and do electronic transfers, it clears using central bank money. So they need to have enough money available to clear funds. If you
No, I don't get that. What do you mean?
Right, or basically each commercial bank, like Halifax or Nationwide, has to have an account with the Bank of England,
Right.
and these accounts are used like when you write a check to someone. Say you write a check to me, your bank account would go down.
Yeah.
The bank's account with the Bank of England would go down.
Right.
My bank's account with the Bank of England would go up,
Yeah.
and my account would go up.
Right.
So it has to clear through that central bank money. So
Oh,
they,
is that if it's going from one high street bank to a different high street
yeah,
bank?
yeah, that's right.
And if it's within the same bank, then there's no change in the Bank of England
No,
account.
no, that would just be reducing one deposit account and increasing another.
I see.
I was quite pleased when I worked that out.
Right.
Makes a lot
That's
of sense.
yeah. See, this is why for everyone listening, this is why I like speaking to Matt because he's good at explaining stuff. He's got right. Right. I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that makes sense now. Right. And so what else you been studying then, Matt? What you been spending your time on?
Well, I think I told you about this. I've been doing a bit of the canons of positive law.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting, really. It's got stuff like about the birth certificate and the trusts that are set up.
Right.
Basically, someone posted some audio on Facebook. I tried listening to it, and I got quite interested. So I went to the website. It's one-heaven.org,
Oh yeah.
and there are lots of canons on it, which I don't exactly know if these are actual canons that were written because some of them seem to be a lot like the author's own opinion, if you see
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure what they are, but it's basically they're meant to be laws, I think,
Right.
or general things that people have agreed on. And I just got to the bit about the birth certificate Sesta v Trust,
Oh right.
which basically involves the state blocking certain benefits from you and controlling your access to them because you're deemed incompetent.
Right.
And that's
Oh.
what the trust does. It elects a group of trustees to manage your access to certain benefits.
Right. I see. Like the example with the babysitter and the kid. Like the
Yeah,
babysitter
that's
doesn't
right.
have to explain to the child what the rules are,
Yeah,
do they?
and what you were saying about the university fees protests going on,
Right.
like benefits, like that sort of benefit as
Yeah.
well. Like all sorts of things they can control.
So when you say the trust, are we referring to the entire society as the trust, or do you mean like
Well,
just the straw man of each person?
um, that's where it gets a bit tricky because there's lots of stuff like about whether it's the property that is the legal fiction or the trust that's the fiction.
Hmm.
But what I'm talking about is on that website. It's called the Sesta KV Trust, and there's actually an act that was passed called the Sesta KV Act, which was passed
Yeah.
during the Great Fire of London,
Oh yeah.
and which created this new type of trust, which means like I think I think everyone is assumed to be lost beyond the seas, and they have to come back within 7 years to reclaim their interest in the benefits. I
Right.
think
Right. Yeah, I've heard
I'm
something like
still
that.
I'm still learning about it. I mean, normally on these things, I only talk about what I have a good knowledge of. So,
Yeah, yeah,
still,
yeah, yeah. Have you seen the copy of that Sestive KV Act?
yeah, yeah, you can get it on the normal statute law websites like opsi.gov.uk
Ah,
and
right, yeah. I've got a. Someone sent me a scan of it. I think they actually went to the
yeah.
sort of law
It,
library or something.
it's a strange act because it doesn't say who is presumed to be lost beyond the seas. It just says if anyone is lost beyond the seas, they have 7 years to reclaim their interest in
Oh,
their
right.
estate.
Oh, right. What, from the age of birth to the age of 7?
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's peculiar, isn't it? It's ever so strange.
Obviously, then they go off to school and start getting taught about other things, so they don't ever think of that.
I
You know,
suppose that's like a testing period. If you haven't
yeah.
if you haven't asserted your right and taken ownership of
Then you
yourself
don't have any.
by A7, it's presumed that, like, what's it called, through tacit procuration, that you're just going
Yeah.
to let someone else sort of govern your affairs for you, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like unless you rebut it, it stands as truth, and that's what's going
Right,
to happen.
right. So, go,
It's
so,
it's
go.
it's the same. It's the same with like with voting. You know, if you don't if you don't get yourself off like the electoral register, then you're presumed to have consented to being governed. I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
Which is what I did. I did the video about the extra normal video that I did about registering to vote. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I'm not sure if I saw that one. What roughly was it about?
Well, it was basically how to if you get people coming round to your house asking you to sign forms related to voting and things,
Yeah.
how to reject the benefit basically
Oh,
and get
right.
out of the contract.
Oh, I see. Oh, I
It's
see.
it's not as it's not as difficult as I might have made it sound. It's just like basically asking them why you're obliged to register or sign the document. You know, because
Right.
they'll say the law requires you to, and it's just that sort of thing.
Oh, right. What's that for? I've never had that. What, did they come round to the door, do they?
Well, well, obviously I haven't because I haven't been asked about it yet. I'm too young to be asked about that. But I have heard of stories of people where I think they're from the Electoral Commission. They come round and ask you to sign something. I'm not exactly sure how the voting register works, but
Oh right. No, that's weird. I've never had that. Or maybe I did when I was 18. Maybe I can't remember, but I don't remember that.
yeah, I mean, you could do exactly the same thing without them coming round. You just send them an affidavit asking them why you have any obligation to stay
Yeah.
on the register. Because you can ask them to remove you from the register, and if they say no, you're required to stay on it. Then you can go into all that with them.
Oh right. I'd like a little interaction like that because that'd be quite fun, wouldn't it, to have a little
Yeah,
verbal sort of tennis match with them?
it's yeah, it's the best sort of training. That's why I like doing those videos
Yeah.
because you can write out the script and you'll get people playing it out, and it makes it seem more real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cool. Because they won't be police or anything. They'll just be local do-gooders doing it, and they won't know what they're on about, will they? So,
Uh, they'll just keep quoting statutes.
yeah, that's right. You just ask them to put it in writing and all that sort of
Yeah.
thing, innit?
Yeah, that's what happened in the video. What I basically put is that you need to ask them if they're willing to swear to the if they're willing to swear in an affidavit that you do have an obligation to vote as a
Yeah,
natural man, on the earth, that sort of thing.
yeah. That's a great one that to have in the arsenal, in it. Like asking, if someone's
Yeah,
giving you, if
on
someone's,
their
yeah, yeah, yeah.
full commercial liability and all that.
Yeah. I always imagine Gordon Hall's voice. It's like, no problem, brother. Just stick that in writing for me or something
Yeah,
like that. So
yeah,
imagine him saying it.
yeah. I think he's the best person to learn from about verbal contracts and that conditional acceptance, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the other people like Winston, they talk about the financial stuff and bonds and um, A for V and that sort of thing, but they don't talk about like the day-to-day interactions you might have with public officials.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I like Gordon's one, when he tells a story about like he get pulled over in his car for doing like 80 miles an hour or something, and
Yeah,
the policewoman's like, "You were doing 80 miles an hour," and he's like, "And?" It's
yeah.
funny, isn't it? Um, what do you reckon of this executor stuff?
Oh, um, well, well, because you linked me to the groups that were discussing it, I just heard them talking about it, and whenever I just tried to ask them, what it's all about, and they directed me to this audio, but I still haven't really found out what it's about. I think it's about taking charge of the Sesta KV Trust.
Oh, right,
It's just like being basically the same as being a creditor, I think,
right. I'm not sure if
asserting your right to it.
I don't think I've heard that order. Is that David guy?
I think he's called the Crown. His
Oh
name on
no, that's Pete. That's Pete Cooney Oh, that's the guy
yeah,
who sent you the link, was it?
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's
I haven't. There's
no,
probably someone called David on it.
no. I mean in the audio, the guy on the audio.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think he was. Yeah,
Is it him on a talk show thing with
yeah,
Angela?
yeah. That's right.
Ah, right. Ah, that's okay. Yeah, I have been listening to that. It's like 6 hours long, isn't it?
Yeah, I really didn't want to listen to all of it because I was feeling a bit tired, and it
Yeah,
could be quite difficult listening to something for that long.
yeah. Here, tell me what you think of this. There's a lot of people seem to be going around and like saying, oh, we shouldn't be involved in commerce because that's their system, and if we're using commerce and contracts, then that's all their rules, and then you're participating
Yeah,
in their game, and you can't really. But I don't really see it like that because
no,
I see commerce and contracting as just pure natural law.
you have to do it really. I mean, it's a worldwide thing. You got to do contracting. There's no way out of it.
Yeah, I think people get mixed up between the UCC
Yeah,
because UCC is copyrighted and it's a codified. Um,
codified version of Law Merchant.
yeah, but commerce is just natural law. It's as close
Yeah,
to God's law as you can get. You can't escape it, can you?
yeah. I mean, I think they're getting confused. Like, if like public commerce
Yeah,
is within their control, private commerce, you do whatever you want really,
spot
according to
on.
contract.
Spot on. See, you're good at explaining stuff, you are. See, you can say in about sort of 10 words what I have to say 1,000 words to try and say.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well,
That's good. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because if you're doing it under public, you're doing it under statute and you're doing it under the protections
yeah,
of,
within the United Kingdom.
yeah, under the protection of the state. And they're a third party to your contract if you're doing it under their thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.